Caitlin and welcome to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to do a bit of a spend the morning with me vlog. And I want to go ahead and preface this video with saying that I'm not probably gonna be super productive in the sense that I'm not gonna be doing a lot of work or working out really hard for several hours or doing a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a bit more of a slow morning, especially because normally I don't really get to have mornings to myself. I will usually work in the early morning or the early afternoon, so I don't really have as much time to myself in the morning. So on the rare day that I do, I really like to draw it out and do some of my favorite things. So I am going to be taking you along with me on that journey. I am still in my pajamas because I love to be in my pajamas for as long as possible in the morning, but I'm actually thinking that I want to go out to a cafe and get a little drink, maybe do some reading or journaling there. So I definitely will be changing relatively quickly. And the only thing that I really want to do before I head out is just to make my bed and obviously change into a different outfit. The book that I am going to be bringing with me to the cafe is actually a compilation of multiple short stories by multiple different authors. It's called Meet Cute and it's supposed to be a countdown to Valentine's Day. So you start it on February 1st and then on Valentine's Day you read the last story. And so far I have been keeping up with it pretty well. So I am very excited to continue reading this. I also am going to bring my journal, like I said, and hopefully do a couple of prompts while I'm there. The only thing that I want to do before I head out for the cafe is just to make my bed really quickly because I like to make sure that my bed is made in the morning. Otherwise, I probably won't get around to doing it and it just makes my room look more clean and put together. It's just a simple way to kind of get my mind in the right space for the day. So I am going to do that really quickly and then I'm going to change into a different outfit and then we will be heading out to the cafe. Alright, so I ended up reading my chapter for the day and I did do a couple of prompts in my journal, which was so nice, so fun. I really do have a really bad habit of journaling for a couple of days straight, maybe a week, and then just completely forgetting about it for a month and then rediscovering journaling and being wow, I love journaling, it's so much fun, and then forgetting about it again. And I'm trying to be better about that this year, but it's an old habit and they're hard to break, truthfully. Today I went to Paul and Jack's bakery. I absolutely love them. I think that they have some of my favorite matcha, quite frankly. I think it is so good. I always get it with vanilla flavoring as well. I just absolutely love it. And I also got a chocolate croissant or a I don't think it's actually called a chocolate croissant there. It's called whatever it's called in French. But I don't know how to pronounce that. So I just call it a chocolate croissant. And that was also very good. And now I am heading home and I'm actually thinking that I want to make myself a little bit more of a breakfast, though admittedly this will be more of a brunch situation because it is kind of getting closer to noon as we speak. I would actually usually start my morning much earlier than I did today, but I decided to sleep in a little bit just because I could, and I quite frankly haven't done that in a really long time. So that was a very enjoyable experience. But yeah, I'm thinking that I will do a scrambled eggs situation. I've been eating up some scrambled eggs recently. Probably gonna throw in some veggies to make it even more good for me and such. And I'm contemplating making a smoothie. Maybe. I haven't actually made a smoothie in a really long time, mainly because it's just been like cold outside, and generally when I do like get into a smoothie mood, it's more warm outside, like during the summer or spring months. But I don't know, I'm just really craving a smoothie, so that might end up happening as well. I'm not entirely sure, I still haven't completely decided. I think I am going to make my breakfast kind of off camera, if you will, just because I am not super great at multitasking when it comes to making food, and I don't want to like set my house on fire or something equally as bad. So I will see you once I have whipped up my breakfast slash brunch. Okay, I literally just finished making my breakfast and I am very proud of it. I think it looks very cute. It smells very good, and from the little bits that I've tasted of both of the things I made, it is really good. So I wanted to share exactly what I made. I made my scrambled eggs, and this is a recipe that I generally do the same basically every single time if I can. I might throw in a little something extra if I have it, or leave something out if we don't have it, but basically I will do 2 eggs, some onion, mushrooms, soy sauce, garlic, and Parmesan cheese. And today I was able to add some green onions as well because I'm a huge fan of green onions. I'm actually a huge fan of just like onions in general, but like huge fan of green onions, which sounds so strange, and I'm aware of that, but truthfully, they're delicious. Anyway, I'm rambling, but this is like my go-to scrambled egg situation, and it is so good in my opinion. I've said this before, I think in the last video where I made specifically this meal, but I really enjoy scrambled eggs because as a pescatarian, I need to be able to find protein anywhere that I can, and eggs is obviously a great solution for that. So I try to make scrambled eggs whenever I have time in the morning. And they're so good. Like literally I could cry. This is so yum to me. And then I did end up making a smoothie, which I am so glad that I did because like I said, I haven't had one in a really long time and I forgot how much I loved them. I really did. So for this, I used mango, pineapple, and strawberries as the fruits. I also added some vanilla protein powder and orange juice, and that is everything for this. It is so good, very simple, easy to make, and quite frankly, I need to start getting back into drinking, I almost called them milkshakes. This is a smoothie, because they're so fun and so yum. On a normal day at home, I would probably just turn on some like YouTube while I'm eating my breakfast, but since I'm vlogging today, I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of just chat a little bit about all the stuff that's going on in my life, or like things that I'm excited for that are coming up. So let's do that. So if you watched, I think 2 videos ago is when Harry Styles announced that he was going on tour. And the absolute mania that ensued after that announcement, for me specifically, definitely for everyone that's a fan of him, but for me specifically, was absolutely absurd. I was scrambling to try and figure out if I could afford a flight to New York, a hotel in New York, let alone the tickets themselves, and was freaking out trying to see if I could find anyone to go with me or if I would end up going by myself. And once I was able to kind of put all the pieces together to get some quotes from people, even people that I know personally that would be able to like kind of help me out in any way, I just determined that this tour, unfortunately, is not one that I can go to, financially speaking. So I actually didn't even try to win the Ticketmaster war because I was just so stressed thinking about it that I didn't even want to attempt it because it would only stress me out more, especially because I had decided before the pre-sale started, let alone the general sale, that I probably won't be going anyway, unless I got tickets for like literally $100. And from what I saw, most of the tickets were like pretty expensive, like minimum $200. So there's that. I am still kind of holding out hope that he will have a couple more tour dates in the US in the future, maybe in 2027, perhaps. Dates specifically that are closer to where I live and not in New York City, which is not anywhere close to where I live. And even if he only announces like more Europe dates in 2027, I think I might be even more open to that as a possibility, because I've been really wanting to go back to Europe for a while now, and honestly, a concert would be kind of the perfect excuse, especially a Harry Styles concert. And on the note, actually, of concerts, I'm very glad that I did not end up trying to get tickets for New York City, because Noah Kahan just announced a tour as well, and one of the dates is literally in my city. So I am very happy that I did not end up I almost said wasting money on Harry Styles. It wouldn't have been wasting money because I would love to go to him, obviously, but choosing between a trip of a concert for Harry Styles where I would have to go out of state and book a hotel and book a flight and like actually get to the venue versus a concert that is in my city and like at most a 20-minute drive, 30 minutes perhaps. I think I know which one I'm gonna go with. You know what I mean? Also, something that I forgot to say is that my cousin was actually very lucky in winning the Ticketmaster War for the Together Together tour. So she will be going, which is very exciting, and I am very happy for her, especially because she's been like a long-time fan of his, long before I even became a fan. And I'm hoping that I might be able to convince her to get me something from that tour and then ship it to me, perhaps, because I would literally cry if that was a thing that she would do for me. And actually, when I posted on my story about Noah Kahan going on tour, she slid into my DMs and was like, oh my God, are you going? And we started talking about it. And I was like, are you gonna go? And she was like, I don't know. I don't like really have anyone to go with, I think. So I think I might offer to get her something from the tour, and then she can get me something from Harry's tour, and then we can just like exchange. And it would be very cute and sweet. And I think that would be a sort of win-win situation for all of us. I also will say I am more hopeful in winning the Noah Kahan Ticketmaster War because he has a bunch of like pre-sale specific things for like making sure that bots and scalpers don't get tickets, which is really exciting. And I think Harry Styles did a kind of similar thing, but the venues that Noah Kahan is going to be going to, at least in the States, have a lot more seats than Madison Square Garden. So I think that will be a huge plus as well, because honestly, as long as I'm in the building, I'll be happy. I will be content if I'm in the building. That's what I have to keep telling myself. What else is going on in my life? Oh, Valentine's Day is coming up, which should be fun. If you don't know me, I am a single girl at age 21 and have been literally my entire life. I've never been in a relationship before. And for a while when I was younger, like early high school, late middle school, that kind of bothered me. But now that I have graduated high school and had a couple years between now and then, I've come to like really not care necessarily that I'm not in a relationship. I'm not inherently opposed to being in a relationship, but I am just one of those people where the relationship would seriously have to add to my life, like in a huge way, in order for me to even really consider it. Because even with friendships, the people that I choose to keep close to me are very specific and add to my life in a huge way. And I would not want to settle for someone just so that I can say that I am in a relationship. So if I was to get into a relationship, they would have to meet a lot of my standards, and my standards are very high because I'm a book reader, so there's that. But I'm actually going to be having a little Galentine's Day get together with some friends this weekend, which I'm very excited about. I'm not hosting it, but I am obviously invited, and it's a smaller get together. I think we're gonna be like decorating some cookies and watching some rom-coms, which should be really exciting. And other than that, I don't really have a lot of plans for Valentine's Day. The last couple of years, I have liked to kind of treat myself in any way that I can for Valentine's Day, since I obviously don't have someone that'll do it for me. So I might like go out and get some sushi because I love sushi, or I might go out and get myself a cute little sweet treat that I've been wanting to try for a while, or something along those lines. Maybe purchase something for myself. I don't know. It is now actually a little bit after 12. So this morning in my life with me is kind of turning into a just day in my life. I'm still probably going to title it morning in my life, since I probably won't be going much past like, I want to say 2 o'clock at the latest. But once I am done with my breakfast, I am contemplating between two options. Number one is putting away a bunch of stuff, like organizing my room, or just cleaning it up, if you will, because it's not really a mess necessarily, because I know where everything is, and quite frankly, this room has looked worse. But at the same time, it is not looking so hot. There is a lot of clothes that I just need to put away, like out of sight. And there are a couple of like specific things that I could do around the room to kind of clean up. But option number two is to work out a little bit, which I know sounds a little crazy, especially because at the beginning of this video, I specifically said that I probably won't be like working out for several hours. And that's still true. I definitely won't be working out for several hours. I probably won't even be working out for a full hour. But the minute that I said that earlier in the video, I actually kind of started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I haven't really done any form of working out in a really long time other than like walking, which is kind of like, in my opinion, as someone who doesn't work out, the bare minimum. But my parents have an elliptical, and I know what you're thinking. That's walking. And you're right, but this is intentional walking. And I haven't used it in a really long time, but my parents always say that I'm more than welcome to. So I'm kind of thinking about that. I would probably have to change again, which would be a little unfortunate, but is what it is. So I am going to finish up my breakfast really quick, and I will be back to you as soon as I decide what I'm doing next. All right, so I have decided that I'm going to be doing a little bit of exercising. I'm thinking for like a max of 15 minutes, maybe 20 if I'm really feeling into it, but no more than like 30 minutes, just because I don't want to, and I don't want my body to be sore tomorrow, because there is nothing worse than your body being sore. That's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. And instead of watching TV or listening to a podcast or watching YouTube, I am going to be reading a little more in this book, The Let Them Theory, which I have been kind of slowly eating away at. I am not very far into this book, like at all, but what I have read so far has been very good and insightful and helpful, and I want to digest as much of this as I can to really become a new, better version of myself, because I know she's in there, but it's kind of the reaching that version of myself that's really hard. So we're gonna try in all sorts of different ways to get to being better. Not to say that who I am right now isn't like enough, or she's bad, or like she's not good enough. I do think that I'm good enough, but I know that there is more to me than this. And that was weirdly philosophical for some reason. So anyway, but I do think that I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here, because this is probably the last thing that I will be doing today until I go into work. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!